When I was a kid, I used to worry who, and some days still do. When I wonder who's going to keep feeding those fish for Mr. Rogers, who's going to keep smooth moonwalking over choppy waters, who's going to make sure there's still trustworthy people around to watch over and protect our daughters, who's going to keep flame-flicking guitar-like riffs like Hendrix, who's going to make sure that silly rabbit stays out of the tricks, who's going to keep snapping jabs like Creed, floating like butterflies and making sure kids still build forts and trees, who's going to make sure nobody bulldozes down that 100-acre forest, who's going to keep plowing the highway to heaven when Michael Landon no longer does it for us, who's going to make sure people still get touched by an angel. Who's going to remind us that a spoonful of sugar helps the melancholy of this world go down? Who's going to keep helping with the shake and bake? Who's going to remind us you have to warm those leftovers from the Last Supper? Who's going to remind us sometimes you just have to crane kick people who keep trying to leg sweep you? Who's going to make sure people still know about the glow? Who's going to make sure that the last dragon is not the last, and the last of the Mohicans is not the last we're speaking to the Mohicans? Who's going to remind kids we're all responsible for the writing, telling, rewriting, and ending of our own stories? And who's going to make sure that horse doesn't drown near the ending of never-ending story? Who's going to remind us life is too short to play Wile E. Coyote or the Roadrunner, because chasing people and running from people, it's just a waste of time and it never ends well? Who's going to remind kids we've all made mistakes, some of us some really big ones, and it's okay. It's going to be okay. Some people even tight-rode their jeans. Who's going to make sure we read more books and less memes, chase less likes and share more dreams? Who's going to remind us not all teachers are teaching things worth learning? Who's going to remind school boards sports have always paid the bills, but arts have always healed hearts? Who's going to remind us unhealed history always repeats itself? Who's going to remind our minds it's fine if you want to wear yoga pants all the time, but don't skip the yoga class. Your soul and your ass will both thank you for it. Who's going to keep driving around punching van ceilings to the beat of Van Halen, reminding us to take sage advice from a man who lived in a van down by the river? Who's going to remind us all addictions erase potential and personality? No matter which one you got or which one's got you, there's a group out there actively practicing a remedy. They will help you find them. Who's going to remind us the best part of waking up is being awake while you're up? Who's going to remind us that at the end of every rope, that's where you find hope? There's always more rope. You just have to keep putting one hand in front of the other. It'll be there. Who's going to remind us that evil doesn't schedule vacation days, rarely takes naps? That's why heroes stay punched in and they schedule way less crap. And every day we don't do some good for someone else, it's a waste, because the weight of the world tilts in the wrong direction. It feels imbalanced, and then so do we. Who's going to remind me we're not Facebook friends? We're neighbors, brothers, sisters, same seed, same father, same mother, one heart, one people, one mind. Who's going to remind kids that Bly, Scarface, and Hank Williams all had the dopest rhymes? Who's going to remind us that the last request of every breath is just a little more time? Who's going to remind kids that there's more than one way to dunk an Oreo and more than one way to eat a Twix? That homeless people are still human and orphans still exist? Who's going to remind people still sell, people get so angry about it, we actually do something about it? Who's going to hustle hope, healing, love, and laughter, make this place feel a little bit more equal? Who's going to make sure Harry and the Hendersons finally gets that sequel? We could get a big old Bigfoot-sized box of popcorn and sit next to John Lithgow and make that movie a hit. Who's going to keep checking off and adding to this long-ass list? You. You are who? No pressure. You can do it. We need you to do it. It's not too late. There's still time. We might have to find more time. We might have to spend less time on our phones, but even E.T. knew that they were only good for calling home. And it seems that's exactly what phones keep us from these days, is being home while we're home. It's not impossible. It's not going to be easy. We might have to watch a little less TV, but a you like you, it's exactly what this world needs. Somebody's going to have to feed Fred's fish.